Hello people, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Harry Potter related video. Today I want to talk about 5 of my favourite Harry Potter theories. Those of you who have been on this channel a while, you know I'm a massive Harry Potter fan, and so therefore it's kind of fitting that I'm kind of a sucker when it comes to a good Harry Potter theory. I've heard a lot of Harry Potter theories. These aren't necessarily what I would say the top 5 best theories, neither are they necessarily my favourite theories. They're just theories that I really think actually could be true. So yeah, here we go. The first theory I want to talk about I think came from either a Tumblr user or a Reddit user a little while back, and that is the theory that the Dursleys were under the effects of the Horcrux. I like this theory because it kind of explains a bit how or why Harry was so badly treated by the Dursleys. But for me personally, I don't think it's necessarily that all of the Dursleys were affected by Harry being a Horcrux, or even if they were, I think the Horcrux specifically affected Petunia. Those Harry Potter book readers would know that when Petunia was younger, she was really close to her sister Lily, and when Lily got her Hogwarts letter, Petunia actually wrote a letter to Dumbledore herself begging him to let her attend. So right at the beginning, she wasn't opposed to magic, she wasn't opposed to her sister when she first found out about it all. She actually wanted to kind of join in with it all. And also, right, Harry is her sister's only son, the only thing that she has left of Lily, and even though for the last couple of years of their lives Lily and Petunia may not have talked, there's no doubt in my mind that she would have been devastated to hear that she had been murdered. And so I think if Harry wasn't a Horcrux, yes, she might still kind of resent him a little bit because like he survived and her sister didn't. So yeah, there might have been a little bit of resentment there, but if Harry wasn't a Horcrux, I think she would have warmed to him a bit more. And this theory also kind of makes sense when you think about after Deathly Hallows, Harry and Petunia stay in touch, you know, they send each other Christmas cards and stuff. So there must still be a little bit of love or compassion or something nice there between them. Dudley, I think the reason he treated Harry so bad was because he grew up with his parents resenting Harry and treating Harry badly, and so therefore that's all he knew. But then of course when Harry saves his life from the Dementors in book 5, Dudley has this whole new opinion of Harry. They actually shake hands in Deathly Hallows, and Dudley left him a cup of tea, like those little things, which by the way I wish they didn't miss out in the films because just great moments right there. And also J.K. Rowling has said that Harry and Dudley also stay in contact and they actually visit each other. It just makes me think that, yeah, okay, all of the Dursleys might have been affected by the Horcrux, but you know how Horcruxes usually affect one person in particular, like when the locket affected Ron more than it affected the other two. I think the Horcrux within Harry had affected Petunia more than the other two. That's a theory I really like. The second theory I want to talk about, I heard recently from a YouTuber called Seamus. I'll leave the link to the video in the description, and that is that Harry, Ron and Hermione had drank Felix Felicis lucky potion just before the Battle of Hogwarts. Seamus suggests that when Harry, Ron and Hermione had met Aberforth and he had given them something to eat and drink, that he had spiked their drinks with Felix Felicis. When I first heard this, I was like, yeah, okay then, where's the evidence? But there is actually so much evidence for this. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but Seamus did, so like I said, link in the description if you want to check out his video on the theory. But I'll discuss a few pieces of evidence. The first one, when Harry, Ron and Hermione are running through the castle while everyone is dueling around them, they don't get so much as a scratch. Like, obviously that is possible, but thinking back to it, it's actually amazing that they didn't get hit by a single jinx, curse or anything. The second point is the fact that Harry was able to convince Helena Ravenclaw, the ghost, to tell him about the diadem, and the only other person that Helena Ravenclaw had told was a young Tom Riddle. And how do we know that Tom Riddle wasn't also under the effects of the lucky potion when he spoke to her? And the biggest thing that kind of blew my mind with this theory, one scene in particular that to me just did not make sense, and that is a scene where Snape has just been attacked by Nagini and was left for dead by Voldemort, why then did Harry decide to go up to Snape? Remember, at this time, Harry still believes that he is evil. He hates this man for killing Dumbledore and for betraying Dumbledore. Why would he go up to him if it wasn't for the fact that a secret dose of Felix Felicis inside him was telling him that's what he should do? And there's so many other pieces of evidence that I was just like, yes, this makes so much sense. And you know, there are so many times in the book, if you actually think about it, where Harry's like, he doesn't know why, but he knows it's the right thing to do, or you know, things like that, which is interesting because he also thought things like this when he was actually under Felix Felicis back in Half-Blood Prince. The third theory I want to talk about is the idea that in the past there was a war between Muggles and witches and wizards, and Muggles won. A lot of people would not believe this theory because magical people are supposed to be more powerful than Muggles, but then why are witches and wizards the ones who are in hiding and the Muggles are the ones ruling the world, basically? If witches and wizards are meant to be more powerful than the Muggles, why haven't they taken over the world? Also, the term Minister for Magic for a lot of people means that it is kind of a subdivision to the actual ministry itself, which again makes a lot of sense. Like, why does the Minister of Magic have to let the Muggle Minister know when dragons are being brought into the country? And also, witches and wizards don't know a lot about Muggle things. They don't know what kinds of weapons and what kinds of self-defense strategies they have in place. So I think actually it's very likely that there was a war and Muggles won. The fourth theory is one that I've kind of heard for years, but I always thought, that's a nice idea. Didn't really believe it. But then I saw a theory video on it recently, and then I was just like, actually, that makes a lot of sense. And that is the theory that Draco Malfoy is a werewolf. Think about it, right? If you were Voldemort and one of your followers who you trusted to bring you the prophecy was defeated by a bunch of teenagers, you'd want to punish him, wouldn't you? And we know that Voldemort punished Lucius, but do we know just how much he punished Lucius? He could have just killed him, but there's no satisfaction in that because then Lucius isn't suffering. What better way to punish someone than to turn his kid into a werewolf? So this would have happened in the summer of 1995, just before Draco starts his 6th year at Hogwarts. And what do we know about Draco's behaviour in the 6th year at Hogwarts? He seemed quieter, more withdrawn, he was stressed out all the time, his appearance had deteriorated a little bit, and yeah, I put this all down to the fact that he was forced to kill Dumbledore and he was forced to become a Death Eater, and he was fearing for his own life and his family's life. But we also know that Draco missed classes sometimes, perhaps so he could transform into a werewolf. And finally, the last theory I want to talk about, I actually heard in the comments section of a SuperCarlinBrothers video, which was discussing whether or not Quirrell was a Horcrux. One of the SuperCarlinBrothers, I can't remember which one was doing the video at the time, he suggested that because a piece of Voldemort's soul was in Professor Quirrell, that technically made him a Horcrux. I disagree with this personally, because then this whole idea with possession just kind of gets mixed up in it, and you're calling anything and everything a Horcrux these days. Like with Ginny, when the piece of soul in the diary was possessing Ginny, did that make her a Horcrux? And then there was this whole big discussion about how you actually make a Horcrux. Like, we don't know the actual procedure into making a Horcrux, but we know that it takes some dark magic, and someone in the comment section of that video suggested that perhaps Voldemort had planned to make a Horcrux out of Harry's murder. They also suggested that perhaps the procedure to make a Horcrux happens before you do the murder, so therefore maybe Voldemort went into the Potter's house intending on making a Horcrux that night and had already done the dark magical procedure before he went into the house. I love this theory because it would explain how and why someone can make a Horcrux without realising that they made a Horcrux. I also think that Nagini was made into a Horcrux after Goblet of Fire, after Voldemort gets his body back. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you agree with these theories? Are there any other Harry Potter theories that you really like? Give them a comment down below. I love to hear about more theories. But be warned, if the Super Carlin brothers, Matt Pat on Film Theorists, or Seamus have done videos on these theories, I would most likely have already heard them. Also, give me a comment what Hogwarts house you're in. And I am going to leave the video there because it's probably way too long already. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I make 2 videos a week about all kinds of stuff, and I will see you next time.